new toy. Homeric, which is just some kind of branded PXid Chinese industrial design house bike. This is basically the 20-inch version of a bike I was going to get in a 16-inch version, which would be the PXid Monbot S6. So this is the 20-inch version of that bike. Oh, it's interesting. It's in a matte orange. That's really cool. I thought it was going to be a gloss orange. So there may be some changes to it compared to the one I saw online. So that's interesting. So anyway, here it is in the box. I'll get it out and set it up. Okay, so here it is out of the box. Really pleased to see that it's actually a matte paint finish on it. Not too sure about this Homeric branding. I mean, it's kind of weird. It looks like a hazard sign for some plant in a nuclear facility from the 1980s or something. However, the overall look, I'm really quite impressed with, actually. I might put some chunkier tyres on that, but yeah, and the stem is like 400,000 meters tall, so we'll see what the ergonomics are like. But the frame, wow, that is a nice piece of frame. Very pleased with that. Again, gears, sorry, not gears, yeah, well, gears, I guess. Front chainring, yeah, that looks like a toy, and the crank, so I'm going to swap it out for something a bit more substantive looking. You've got these 6 gears on the back, look okay actually. And you've got this Saiguan gear system, which is similar typeface to Shimano, but not Shimano. Overall though, I think it looks really good. You've got your rear damper on the back, probably gives maybe 2 or 3 inches of travel. I might get some suspension forks on the front, although this is what's called a URT design, and what that means is the suspension works via a pivot. So it works around this pivot here. So URT means unified rear triangles. So where your feet are, you're actually part of the unsprung weight, it's unsuspended. But when you hit a rock at the back or at the front, it pivots around here via this shock. So it's an interesting system because technically you don't actually need front suspension forks. Although my first suspension bike was this arrangement, and when I had suspension forks on the front, it did actually improve it even further. It's a strange suspension system, it's not the most efficient. The good thing about it is you don't get any chain growth. I think that's what they call it. So that when you're pedaling and the suspension goes up and down, the chain length stays the same, which is really good. It's not quite as plush, however it is better, even standing up. Strangely, it still works. Not as good, not as well rather, as when the crank here is actually part of the suspension and above the pivot. That might be a bit vague, but what it basically means is where your feet are and where you're pedaling isn't suspended. That's how a unified rear triangle works. With other bikes, where your feet are and where you pedal is actually suspended. So I think that's a simpler way to put it. Anyway, it's an interesting way of doing a suspension, or doing some suspension on a bike. It does work after a fashion, and it's definitely much better than not having it. So I think it should be interesting to see what it rides like. Yeah, but the frame, very good. I've got an updated seat post I'm going to put on it. A cheaper, if you like, sort of dropper post, where you can just flick this and then pull it up. Actually, no, I don't think it is hydraulic. I think it's just much simpler than that. You just flick this up and you can adjust it. So it's an even quicker quick release, if you like. So I'm going to put that in. And I've got a much lighter seat than the massive Bumblebee style seat you get with it, which is this super light road seat I got from Alibaba or something. I know, AliExpress, which is a nice cut out in here, so you know, don't end up impotent. Yeah, so I'm going to put that on, save a little bit of weight. I think I've got another one of these coming, which is a bit shorter, and I've got some riser bars, which I think are a bit wider. So I'll probably change the front cockpit, but I want to ride it first, I think. See what it feels like. But yeah, for the money, this thing was fantastic. I think it's fantastic quality for the money. I mean, it's worth it for the frame alone, to be honest, what I paid for this. And this is a cold forged magnesium frame with not a single weld, which makes it super strong and super light. This is really high-tech stuff in terms of the metallurgy here. And this thing, what was it, 700 and something pounds, which is probably half what you'd pay for it if it was branded in some other way. So very, very good. Let's see what we can make of this.